The problem of representing the cutting edge of youth culture in the BBC's output became more acute with the rise of punk.
Kids want excitement. They want things that are going to transform what is basically a very boring life for them right now.
I think people like me felt that times were changing, children were changing, society was changing, and that there was a danger that children's television would become too cosy, too safe and too middle class.
I think there had been an expectation that children's programmes should be very protective, and we actually thought we needed to extend children, not confine them, and that most children are tough enough. They had to put up with terribly tough things in real life, so why couldn't they on television?
When the writer Phil Redmond brought the idea for Grange Hill to the BBC, the children's department saw the chance to create TV's first soap opera for kids. Since it was first broadcast in 1977, Grange Hill has helped the BBC to cast off its reputation for producing relatively safe, squeaky clean dramas with resolutely middle-class concerns.
Grange Hill is an absolute pioneer. A kids' soap, working class, and set in the schools that the kids were actually in.
Hey, you better watch out. Bullet Baxter's after you.
What for? Missing games?
Yeah, and the practice session.
Grange Hill was sort of the Cathy Come Home for its generation. It was kitchen sink for the 70s.
What's your name?
Penny Green, sir.
Why aren't you wearing school uniform?
I haven't got one, sir. My mum told the headmaster she couldn't afford to buy one, sir.
Right from the start, parents complained that Grange Hill was giving lessons in bad behaviour to their children.
William Graham.
It was the fact that children were cheeky, and they said flipping heck.
Flipping heck.
Flipping egg! Flipping egg.
The show was also accused of contributing to the wider breakdown of authority that was apparent in the late 1970s.
Keep yourselves living with us, we'll have a race.
It was anarchic in that kind of way, and that's what they didn't like.
It made a point about kids thinking for themselves.
If we get rid of uniforms, it'll be an expression of individuality against a corporate and controlling system that seeks to treat human beings like cattle.
Not just accepting authority in the way that they always had.
You must listen to what I tell you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All those comments, if you like, where the notion is that children will simply imitate what they see, you know, were pushed to one side. I mean, it's why it was so compelling.
I think the idea that kids shouldn't be seen ultimately to get away with it is something that is very deeply rooted in our psyche.
Right. Outside the lot of you, move.
That is the way in which we were able to push the frontiers out and show things that were slightly dangerous, shall we say, as long as the comeuppance was there.
Students' Action Group has been banned, and I shall recommend to the governors that the ringleaders be expelled.
We didn't create things, we reflected things that were going on.
We always felt that this should be a cutting-edge programme, and we were always pushing it as far as we could.
In the early years of its existence, Grange Hill proved the BBC could tackle difficult issues affecting children in their real lives.
Flipping heck. Who wants to have babies just to get rid of period pains? Anyway.
People wanted more realism, gritty realism, and the idea of a school, you know, was such a good one. It was very well written and very well directed, and the kids were brilliant, you know. I said, we haven't got a hope, not against Grange Hill.
What Grange Hill did was to reflect what was happening in the schools. What Tomorrow People was doing was giving a life different from the one the children were leading. We were not trying to reflect reality. We were doing the opposite. We were showing ways of defeating reality.